Hello and welcome. Today we've got Michael Jaco, who's a former CIA and Navy SEAL. And today we're going to be discussing the Trump landslide and the assassination attempt and the historic Ronald Reagan and secret services and much more. Now, just before we begin, you can subscribe to my Instagram channel at nicholas.veniamin, where you can follow all my daily news reels. Michael, thank you so much for joining me. How are you and what have you been up to?
Doing really good, Nicholas. We're, enjoying really beautiful weather here in Florida. So, just keeping up on what's going on in the world. And yeah, it's pretty crazy what happened a couple of days ago with Trump assassination attempt. So, from my perspective as a detail head, so I used to head up details for Ambassador Bremer in Iraq, former, Navy SEAL. And so they picked me to basically head up a portion of his detail. And sometimes I was head of the entire detail, depending on where it was. So, I have experience with Secret Service because they would come in and we would supplement them sometimes when they came into different sites. Even when I was in the CIA, we would sometimes do protective details and help other details when they came into town, depending on what country it was, whatever. So I know details. I know the specifics of details. So the detail that was supposedly protecting Trump was definitely there's some massive gaps in that, and I think we haven't seen something this horrible since the assassination of JFK. So it leads us to believe that maybe this was a setup. And from my perspective, I think it definitely was a setup. The sniper that took out or tried to take out Donald Trump was basically the crowd was like pointing it out. So why didn't they have people on the other roofs? There was a sniper that said that he saw that person. You can see the sniper just behind President Trump when he's speaking. And he has come out and said that he wasn't given the okay to engage. Well, if you have someone that is definitely coming in to assassinate a president, you don't wait till they take shots before you engage, and that seems to be what this person has done. So there's a lot of suspect things that happen. So that surrounding that, and then you get to the point where when the shots were being fired, it seemed to take a little bit of a delay for the Secret Service to come up and get him down. They should have been on him a lot sooner. Again, from my experience, we work with what we call principals, high level dignitaries, protective detail stuff, where you're on. If there's any suspect thing going on the outside, which there already was from this potential shooter that was in full view of a lot of people that for several minutes before were trying to alert law enforcement, and then you have a sniper that looks there's something that seems to be wrong. So there should have been some kind of telegraph to let's have them stand off stage. Even coming into that event, there was some suspect stuff. So I would have called this off. I would have even gone to the event to begin with from all the stuff that I'm looking at now. And then while the event is going on, I would have gotten my principal off stage until we assess the situation and figure out what was going on, and maybe even got him out of there at that point. So shots go out. You can see what looks like he's hit. Is it angelic protection? There seems to be some kind of level of where it was organized and orchestrated for him to be shot. You can go that route. And then there seems to be, this God protective things. I can vouch for that, having Archangel Michael have protected me in the past. So it's very interesting. There was a pastor, Brandon Biggs, 3 months ago that said that he saw President Trump, a bullet whizzing by his head, all kinds of crazy stuff. So you have the possibility of maybe a God intervention, angelic intervention. And then you have the aspect of, was he set up? And I strongly believe that it was set up. Now, his details seem to be very, very off. So were they off on purpose? You know, is it a bigger picture? Was this whole event a staged event? So you have to look big, even bigger picture. Would Trump be involved in a staged event? So if we look at a bigger staged event, if I'm looking at Trump because I strongly believe in him, then this was basically they knew the deep state was going to take him down like a JFK event, and so they staged this and they took control of it. And now, as I strongly believe, he's going to be reelected more strongly than ever before. In fact, in some people's mind, it was maybe a stretch, but at this point, I don't think there's any stretch. We have Elon Musk now going to back him. So you're going to have many, many people coming in to back him monetarily. There's no way he's not going to win now, unless they get another attempt on his life.
So why would they stage something like this and have his ear be bleeding and another person shot and injured at the rally?
Yeah, I mean that's what you have to look at all these different things. So it basically adds to the emotions. So when the deep state, we can look back on the JFK, we can look at the attempted assassination of Ronald Reagan. All these are very emotional events. So you have to create, if you're going to create an event, you have to create emotion in that event. And this creates a lot of emotion, regardless of whether it's completely staged, partially staged, or something else, right? So I don't really care whether it was staged. I'm happy that this is going to move us forward to basically have Trump put in office, because this deep state has to be taken down. Like I said, if there's a stage event, great. If it's a partial staged event where he was going to be taken out, and then unfortunately some people were killed, and Trump was wounded legitimately, then I'm okay with all of it. It's gonna end up for us, have Trump back in office, and then to start to take down the deep state. It's not going to be easy. So is it an operation against the deep state? Because I've been involved in stuff not completely like this on this level, but I've been involved in, if you will, false flags in other countries to basically turn the populace against certain people and so forth. So this is a potential one of that is that way. Now, a lot of people are going to get emotional. I would say don't get emotional. Just look at this critically. Use your critical thinking. Emotional intelligence is is something that everyone needs to be striving for. So if you just flip off and go emotional on this, it's not going to serve anyone, because we need to be united in this. And whether you don't agree with my assessment or not, it doesn't matter to me. Let's stay united and get this evil that's running the country and the world out, and then start to move forward.
Mm-hmm. Well, the other thing is, what if it was staged, then why doesn't the mainstream media push it as if it was staged, rather than them playing it down, saying that Trump was interrupted during his rally, trying to play down the assassination to hide the fact that Trump is actually a threat to the deep state and to the media and to the elites?
Well, they have actually started some of those narratives. And of course, the White Hats, I believe, have their narratives in place, and they're already starting to push their narratives. So it's always been a war of narratives. It's always been a war of words, and you need to have a portion of the populace on your side. I think this puts the onus on the deep state to come up with a reasoning why Trump would pull this into his reality, because they're trying to say that it was Trump's verbiage that caused this guy to flip out and shoot him. And why didn't he have more training? There's even someone out there that's saying it's too bad that guy didn't have enough better training, and next time hopefully we get somebody that has better training. So the narratives are continuing. We've seen this from Nancy Pelosi. We've seen this from many people within the Democrat Party. Just recently, 5 or 6 days ago, we had Joe Biden say that we need to put Trump in the crosshairs. So these narratives are being exposed from the deep state side, but they're going to come out. So a lot of people are like, "Well, I need to go and find out what's going on in the press. What is the press saying about this?" And that's beyond stupid. We already know the press is compromised. So of course they're going to come in with different narratives and try and pull people away from what is potentially, I think, the thing that's going to push Trump well into the presidential office again.
Mhm. Let's talk about Ronald Reagan's assassination attempt, where he was wounded, and he too won a landslide. What was that like?
Yeah, so good point. He went up against Walter Mondale. Uh, Walter Mondale only carried his own state. I think his state was Minnesota. And Trump carried every other state, all 49 states, all red. So this is the potential, I think, going forward for Trump. And then, like I said, with the backing that he's going to get, and then people that have been on the fence are now like, that's enough. I'm not, this is obviously, probably coordinated deep state attack against Trump. Whether it legitimately was or whether it was hijacked, and because that's kind of my feel, that it was kind of hijacked and basically made into a better show, and a show where Trump survives this one instead of the other one where he probably most likely would have been killed. I think that's the miracle that we're looking at. Whether it was legitimately Trump had no involvement whatsoever, and he just had a protected detail that was worse than a clown show to the point of extreme negligence and caused him to be, shot at. So I can't imagine.
Yeah,
And because like I said, I've been in protected details. That area would have been an area that would have been we would have been watching. There was no drones up. There was no anything up to do air surveillance. These are all normally things that are done. So all of these things being taken out, and then an outer perimeter security that was non-existent, obviously, because there were people screaming and yelling that there was a guy up on the roof with a gun for minutes before this. There's obviously no one in the outer security, and I think that was on purpose. That was on purpose. Whether it's for a stage event or whether it's for just completely pulling people out because they want this, uh, shooter to be
yeah.
successful.
What if there's a very bad apple in the Secret Services that Trump needs to get rid of that allowed this to happen?
Regardless of what happens here, we're going to probably see a Secret Service get revamped, and this is something that probably should have been done long ago. Now, when Trump left office, I saw that he had hired private security, and I thought they were fairly good because I literally saw them at an event, at several events, and I was up close to some of them at Trump Hotel in Las Vegas when he was there. So he does have access to some exceptionally well, trained security. So I'm looking at whatever that was that Secret Service provided him with as just a horrific on so many level of security that it's reprehensible. So probably what's going to happen is that's going to get pulled away. Maybe a military. When I was in the SEAL teams, when I was in the CIA, it was all top level guys. I mean, you can't get more top level than I am. SEAL Team 6, and then working the CIA and doing protective details for Ambassador Bremer, all these different things. So there's plenty of people out there. I've seen protective details that, like the SEAL teams and Delta have done. SEAL Team 6 and Delta, they have done exceptionally good jobs. Maybe he needs a good military unit surrounding him, and maybe that's what we're going to have to see going forward. Bulletproof glass at J6. He was behind bulletproof glass, so obviously he was suspecting something then. So his Secret Service detail back then was obviously good. I looked at all the buildings. There was security on every single building top around President Trump when he was giving his presentation on J6. So something was definitely off for this event, and we'll see over time, what exactly that was. Another thing that that seems very suspect to me is when Trump was gotten to his feet and they started moving him. He kept stopping and pumping his fist, and that just wouldn't happen with a protective detail. He'd have been flashed out of there so fast, just like Reagan. He was like flashed into that car, like boom. Once that guy started opening up, and there's people jumping in the way, and guys taking bullets for him, and all kind of crazy stuff. So
Yeah.
uh, I didn't see that with Trump, and even when he gets to his car, I mean, he has one protective detail. It's a female that's obviously shorter than him. Everyone should be at least his height in a situation like that, and he should get down, and everybody's like over the top of him. They're moving him. It didn't happen that way. So uh, whoever the protective detail was didn't take charge of the situation, or like I kind of feel there were some moments of um, photo opportunity were being taken there, and that's kind of suspect to me as well. That's why I think it might be an overall staged event, but I don't want to dwell on it. It's like I'm just happy that he's alive and we're going forward, and he's going to be winning in a landslide, no question about it at this point.
Yeah, of course. What do you think about now this event? Would you say it's appropriate that they could maybe bring in martial law?
Not at this point, not just because of that. I mean, this has happened. Abraham Lincoln. We've seen it with obviously with JFK, Ronald Reagan attempt. So we had no martial law with either one of those events. There's no reason to have that now. Now, what would bring in martial law is we started seeing cities erupt for some reason in problems, just like we saw with the George Floyd protest. And I know that the leftists are like, it's like the conservatives like myself and, the MAGA and so forth, that we're the ones that are violent. Uh, when Trump was elected, there were 4 days of riots. 4 days of riots on the day there's being inaugurated. All around DC, there was like breaking glass, people running around, going crazy. That did not exist It did not exist for Biden when he was elected. It's never existed for anyone other than that time frame. All right.
Mhm.
So there's obviously a deep state attempt, and then we had Madonna, do the Pussycat Girls, speech where they're wearing the pussy hats, and she's saying that she has dreams of the White House being burned. So there's all of these different, people that come out and really have been banging hard, and all these calls for Trump to be literally assassinated by people. Uh, and then they get investigated, and then they get let go. And it's like, and of course, we just saw the president of the United States say he needs to be in crosshairs. So it is, the rhetoric on their side is like way over the limit, and the violence on their side, including this event, is way over the top. And we're not seeing that from the other side at all, ever. But they claim that we are. So, and this is part of the narrative that they want to create and instill so that they can try and keep people hijacked consciously. And I think this event basically is going to break that dam that they've created to keep people behind that. And really, a lot of people are looking at this now. And I think over the next several weeks and months, you're going to probably see a lot more information come out. I think there's going to be a flood of information that really starts to push this towards Trump. So what else are they going to try and do? Is there going to be a counter deep state attempt on Biden, where they stage an event where he gets taken out, and they call it like, well, we had one guy that went crazy, but look what happened with MAGA because we did that. And so there's a possibility that happens. But that would absolutely be a staged event, because we have not seen that on any level from conservatives. We just don't do that. If like when I was protective details, I don't care who was there. It's like Democrat, someone I supported, someone I didn't support. I'm there to be professional and keep people safe. And that's the way it was. I didn't like that Clinton got elected and a lot of other people got out of the military, but I stayed in the military. I was like, I don't care. It's like, Democrats are going to have their time. We're going to have our time again. It's just been like that way forever. But now it seems like there's one party that wants complete control and never let it go again. So I think a lot of people are seeing that, and this is part of the process of breaking free from the deep state control. It's been a slow squeeze, I think, for a very long period of time. It's come to its last levels, and it's dying away. There's so many things are being exposed at this point. It's absolutely incredible.
Absolutely. It's very interesting. Now, do you believe that the deep state now are in more panic more than ever before?
Yeah, and we're probably going to see some things, and a lot of people are predicting that, like I have been, that as we get closer to this potential election event, and this election event is probably going to like create some real anger and pushing the narrative harder and faster, and that's going to turn more people away from them. They're going to get more desperate because of that. So it's going to be a vicious cycle going all the way to the end. Will there be an election? A lot of people say there won't be. Um, I, it's a possibility. Right?
Yeah.
We know they're trying to push us into a nuclear war with Russia. We know they're trying to push us into a nuclear war with the Middle East, with Israel. So is there going to be some kind of a nuclear event that they kick off somehow and blame it on another country? It's a possibility. So with this particular event that just happened, it takes their possibility of getting into the White House down to almost zero. So the desperation. So they're planning something. I promise you, they're planning something that's been on the back burner, and they're going to bring it up, and they're going to like unleash something big that no one can imagine. Just like no one could imagine that President Trump would have been assassinated, and
And
he
no one
wasn't,
could,
unfortunately.
yeah, and no one could have imagined we would be locked down for a whole year or two for, the whole world. So you just don't know.
Yeah, and the press, pushed that narrative. But yet, people are like running to the press to find out about Trump. That's ridiculous. You can't have that. It's like shows like ours where we're doing independent reporting and doing the best of our ability to take whatever information's out there and give it freely in a way that people can understand it and hopefully benefit from it.
Absolutely. Well, Michael, Jaco, thank you so much for sharing everything with us today. I really appreciate that. Is there anything else that you'd like to say to the viewers before we finish?
Yeah, it's stay in that love vibration because there's a lot of people who are going to get very emotional. We don't want to get too far over the edge with like getting crazy on the Trump side. The 2016 election, we were very quiet, very stealth-like, and we won that election. 2020, we were like, oh, like Trump's going to win, Trump's going to win, and we didn't. So I say, let's just keep it very civil. Let's keep it very focused, and I think we're going to get through and do the best job if we do that.
Absolutely. Well, thank you very much, Michael, and we'll speak again very soon. You take care. Bye-bye.
You too, Nicholas. Thanks.